In this episode, I'm going to talk a little bit more on Adobe Bridge, and mainly we're going to be focusing on keywords and filter panel in Bridge. And throughout the video, awesome people, I'll be showing you a few tricks and tips that may come in handy when you're using Adobe Bridge. Alright, so let me start off the video, awesome people, by showing you guys how to change the size of these thumbnails in the content panel. So, you know, whatever the size may be, whether it's too small or whether it's too big, you can change the size of the thumbnails via the slider, which is right here. If you take it and you drag it towards the smaller square, that's going to decrease the size. And if you take it and drag it towards the larger square, that's basically going to increase the size. You can also use these two buttons for increasing and decreasing the size. Personally, also people, I feel that if you keep 4 images over here like this is the best way, because like this you get to you can compare 4 images in the preview panel with each other, and it saves you a lot of time. So it's a good habit, you know, to get into. If you're a photographer, you have to decide which shot you're going to work with, you know, which you want to keep, which you want to take in Photoshop. So you can kind of, you know, compare 4 images at, you know, in one time, or you can actually compare 2 in one time. So depending on what you like, how much more control you want, you can do that. So that's one thing. Next, awesome people, is how to do a batch rename. Now, batch rename, awesome people, is very important, and I'm damn sure whether you're a photographer or no, if you're using Adobe Bridge for keeping, you know, a track of all your stocks and, you know, just kind of keeping yourself organized with Adobe Bridge, you will use it at some point of time. So let me show you how that works. Okay, so say if you're a photographer, you went out, you got lots of images, you copied them to your hard drive now, and you don't like the naming convention that your camera used, right? So you want to do a batch rename. The first thing is to select all your images. The keyboard shortcut, Control A, do that, and all your images get selected. Come to Tools and click on this option which says batch rename. I don't remember the keyboard shortcut because, you know, it's not like I'm doing batch rename every time. So it's on you. If you want to remember it, good for you. If no, that's perfectly fine. So do a batch rename, go to Tools, do batch rename, and let me show you guys how this thing works. So by default, awesome people, the preset is going to be default. That makes sense. You have the option of the destination folder. So if you want to do a rename in the same folder, you want another copy to be made, or you want to move your images. Move is a lot like cut and paste. Okay, it's not going to create another copy. It's going to move your images from A to B. Personally, I always go for rename in the same folder. I don't like making copies for no reason. So I always keep rename in same folder. Now the new file name, this is the place where your new file name is going to be decided. By the way, your new file name, here's a simple preview as to how it's going to look. The first thing that I don't, the first thing also people that I would like to change in my new file name is that I don't want this. I don't want this big whole number. So the first thing is to get rid of this date time. And to do that, awesome people, you just have to click on this minus like icon. You can either add, that's basically adding something. You can add text, you can add new extension, current file name. You can, you know, you basically have all of these things. I just work with sequence number and text. You know, just keep it plain and simple for you guys to know, you know, where your images are, what's the number. That I think is more than enough. And that's how I work. So I don't want the date and time. I'm going to remove that by clicking on the minus. And this one more text is something I don't want. So I'm just going to get rid of that. So I have one text and one sequence number. Perfect. I'm going to change the text over here. So this basically, awesome people, this column is going to decide what kind of name you're going to give, right? Whether you're adding a folder name, string substitution, text, new extension, etc. We're going to go for text. And what text is going to be decided over here. So I'm going to change this from project to cars underscore, and I'm going to change my sequence number. I'm going to keep it 01. So this is what my new file name is going to look like, and this is the before file name. See that? A big difference. And awesome people, if you want to change how many zeros you know, Bridge is adding, you just have to change it over here from 4-digit to 2 or 1-digit. We have 36 images right now, so I'm going to go with 2-digit. And that's it, you know. So after 10, it's going to become like 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. It's perfect. And awesome people, if you are, you know, into renaming your images a lot, okay, and this is how you do it every time, then you can save a preset. It's very easy. Just click on save and you can give your preset a name. I'm going to call this cars. Hit enter to accept. And now, awesome people, instead of going through the whole thing again and again, like, you know, changing, removing the date and time, removing that extra text that we had, you know, getting rid of all that, adding our name over here, the sequence number, all of that, That's all going to be saved in your preset. So that's, I think, can come in handy if you're into photography and you want to keep your images organized. Anyways, I'm going to go with default. Actually, I'm going to go with cars now because it's already done. So do that, and as soon as you click on rename, tada! See that? Everything has been done. So that is how you do a batch rename in Adobe Bridge.